Hello. Hello. Okay, can you hear me? Hello. Okay, can you hear me? Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Hello, can you hear me? 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 Huh? Pardon? Huh? Pardon? Huh? Pardon? Huh? Pardon?
My
Pardon? Ball.
my
Pardon? Ball.
my
Pardon? Ball.
my
Does this change anything? Is it input or output volume that I have to change? Wait a minute, is my microphone even connected? Does this change anything? Hello, hello? I can hear you, but I don't. Is this changing anything? Hello? Hello? How about this? Does this change anything? Hello? Does this change anything? Sarah? Sarah, can you not hear me? Sarah, can you not hear me at all? Hello? Can you not hear me? Hello, hello? Do you not hear me? Okay. Um, 1, 2, 3, mic testing. No, nothing. Yes. Yes. Let me plug my microphone back in. Like, I'm gonna take it out and plug it back in, see if that changes anything. Yes? No? I'm gonna plug. I'm gonna unplug and plug it back in to see. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Does that change anything? I mean, I could. Maybe I can bring it closer to my face. Like this is fine. 1, 2, 3. Mic testing. 1, 2. Okay, okay. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, just whatever you see that you think might be interesting. Up to you. Yeah, I don't have any specific. Yeah. I also think it's too late to add stuff now. So yeah, because it starts at 8, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Anything from my website. Honestly, like you can just have my website up and you can just like scroll on the stuff or yeah, yeah. And I don't think we need to show the performance video or yeah, yeah. Sure, sure. Yeah. Are you doing okay though? Are you doing okay though? Like, are you stressed? Okay, okay. Yeah. No, I use that term all the time. I literally say that all the time. Technology and I'm cursed. Like everyone's like, don't say that, Joyce. But I'm like, no, you don't understand. Everything I touch breaks. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Also, I'm down to go longer too if you need. Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's me. Oh, wait, wrong one. Oh, my camera. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, super cursed. Okay, well, I don't know what's going on, but this is super cursed. No one needs to see my face. Welcome everybody to the stream. Um, we're going to we have a wonderful guest today. We have Joyce, and we're gonna switch over to Joyce's beautiful face because my camera is very cursed. Uh, and
Hello, hello.
yeah, so she is a sculptor, an author, and a wonderful person overall. And we're gonna interview her today.
Thank
Get
you.
to
I'm
know
super
her.
honored to be here.
Yeah, so like I think just one of the two is already such a like I don't know, unique like path, but like you've chosen to be both an author and a sculptor. Is that like you decided to do that, or just happen? Like how did you end up coming to this?
So ever since I was a kid, I was like, oh, for sure, I'm just gonna be an artist. And then people at church would tell me like, oh, Joyce, you're gonna starve to death. And I know that's just something adults say, but I took it literally because I was a child, right? So I
Uh,
was like, oh, like I can't eat. Then I'm going to like, what's the other thing that I like doing? I like reading books and writing books. So I'm like, okay, then I'm gonna
mm,
write. And I'm like, little did I know that that was also someone who starves to death.
yeah.
But I was like, you know what? Like that's the more richer thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I can eat, anyways. So all of and growing up, I just really liked art. And then I would always be like, Dad, send me to art school. And he's like, no, you don't need art school. Just like create. And then, like, like, Dad, I want art school. We have
Yeah.
art school at home.
Yeah.
Like that meme. And then he was like, okay, yeah, like, I don't want you to get brainwashed by art
Mm-hmm.
academia or whatever. So just do whatever you want to do, create whatever you want to create. And then maybe we can think about like art university. And
Mm.
then I was like, yeah, okay. And then, but because I thought artists starve to death, I was like, okay, then I'm just gonna write. And then I like threw myself into English literature all of high
Oh.
school. And then it came to be the time to apply for university.
Yeah.
And then my dad was like, "Oh, Joyce, like, which one are you gonna apply for? Like, what major?" And I was like, "Oh, obviously English lit."
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then he's like, "Oh, why obviously? Do you want? Is that what you want to study for the next 4 years?" And I was like, "Oh, I do not want to study this for the next 4 years. I'm so done." Uh, and then I was like, "Then tell me what to do." And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I can't tell you what to do. Like, this is such an important decision. It's like there's some things in life you have to decide for yourself. And I'm like, why can't you be like normal
Mm.
Asian parents and just tell me how to live my
That's
life?
so good.
It was really, and so he's like, read the Bible, pray
Mm-hmm.
about it, and like really reflect on what you wanna like study for the next 4 years. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, but I do want to be an author. Uh, and he's
Mm.
like, well, you are an author already. You are an artist already. Like you are a child of
Wow.
God. University doesn't make you somebody. It just equips you with 4 years worth of uh tools to
Oh,
like
Joyce's dad.
yeah
Bravo.
to be that
Amazing.
person better, right? And I was like, okay. And then so like I went to my room and I distinctly remember like doing the thing where like you put the Bible down and you like
Mm.
open it and then it opened up to the parable of the talents, which I've read a million times before. But like I always kind of felt bad for the one talent guy because it's like he only had one talent.
Uh-huh.
And then the master gave like the three people, one guy one talent, one guy 5 talents, one guy 10 talents, like the
Mm-hmm.
coins. um and then when he came back, like the 5 and the 10 guy, they made double, and then they're like, "Here, I did a good job. I doubled
Mm-hmm.
it for you." And then the one guy is like, "Oh, you obviously like I only have one, so I can't lose this one. So I'm gonna
Uh,
bury it and then prove to you that I still have it. Like
yeah.
I didn't embarrass myself." And
Yeah.
then the master just took that away from him and gave it to like the 10 talent guy. And I got
Yeah.
so annoyed. I was like, "Wow, you're taking it away from the one poor person who like is not sure." And then I
Yeah.
realized, like, yo, like what are my talents that God has given
Mm.
me, even if they're like really embarrassing?
Right.
Yeah, and I want to bury them. And I was like, okay, like writing and like art is something I really love. But
Mm.
then I've really crafted one. Like I've crafted
Mm.
writing all of high school, but like I keep burying the art one because I feel like it, I'm not that good at it.
What?
Like it's not that much to show for it. Like I just don't want to lose it, so I'll just like keep it hidden
Uh-huh.
and safe and whatever.
And
And then I was like,
this is how
it's
you
gonna get
felt
taken away.
in high school or
Yeah,
university?
yeah. I was
Oh
like
my god.
literally applying like, whoa, this parable is like so real. Like, so if I don't want God to take away like the thing that He wanted me to use
Uh-huh.
unabashedly in the first place, I need to use it now. So it's like
Uh-huh.
we're out of fear. It's like,
Uh-huh.
okay, if I don't be a faithful steward with the art thing, just because
Uh-huh.
I think I suck, then like he's gonna take it away. So I was like, oh no, okay, I have to go to art school.
Oh
And
my
my dad's like,
gosh.
okay, why don't you go to all of these? These are the coolest schools in Toronto
Yeah,
because he went to
yeah.
OCAD too.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't go to OCAD, but
No, no, my dad went to
oh,
OCAD too. Yeah.
oh, okay, 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 that makes sense.
Yeah. And then so I was like, okay. uh, long story short, I ended up going to OCAD.
But don't
Uh,
you have to have like art skills to get into art school because you need a portfolio and stuff?
yeah, like my cousin and my aunt and my uncle helped me a lot, and they
Oh,
were all like from OCAD too.
right.
Um, but I later heard from like the teachers that actually did the panel, like
Uh-huh.
the, the what do you call it, the interview process,
Yeah.
that they, because first year of school,
Yeah.
I looked around at my like classmates'
Yeah.
art, and some of them I'm like, how did you get in? Um,
Oh.
it was like some people were like really good, like
Oh.
Russian, traditional,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
realism, and then there are other people like it looked like they stuck seaweed on a canvas, and I'm like, how did you get in here? But then I heard the teachers talking, and apparently like one of them said, oh, you can teach someone skill, you can't teach them the spark. And so I guess that's what they were
Oh.
looking for, like someone who
Interesting.
had something to say and someone who like had that spark and that passion, that unique perspective,
Mm.
that they can like grow, instead of just like someone who's just really good
Yeah, yeah.
at technical stuff but don't have anything to say, right? Yeah,
Mm.
so I think that was that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So like you're saying like, I mean as much as it's a stereotype, it is also like based on some facts of like starving artists and like starving authors. Like what are the difficulties that you like face as like pursuing this path in career like
I'm actually like the ideal poor person. So I actually wrote this down, like I wrote your question down.
Yeah.
Oh, like I realized that I've always seen limitations, especially financial limitations, as
Mhm.
like a opportunity to be creative. And I blame my
Mm.
mom. I credit my mom for that,
Uh,
because yeah, like every time at school, that they did like something bougie, like costume day
yeah,
or
yeah.
like spirit week or whatever, and everyone
Mm.
bought their costumes, she'd be
Right.
like, oh, we can make it. And then
Yeah,
so we would
yeah, yeah.
make it, and that would make like the best memories ever. And so for
Yeah.
us, like the way we shopped was like we'd go out and we'd be like, that's so pretty, I want that, let's go
Mhm.
and make it. And then we end
Yeah.
up making like a different version, we like it. And so I think I actually really thrive under limitations now.
Mm.
Like if I feel like, and that actually that's what keeps me creating too. It's the need for something. Like for example, I
Mhm.
need something, but if it's too expensive to buy, I'll just make it, and then it turns into like a practical sculpture. Like half of my furniture used to be all paper mache sculptures that I could
Mm.
use as shelves because I didn't have shelves.
Right, right.
Yeah, so I would
Wow.
say, yeah.
No, that's awesome. I think it's hard for a lot of people, when you don't have like the financial needs to like create the things that they want. But like yeah, for sure I agree like using like the limitations. I definitely when I was like more like living on my own, I was like, "Oh, I really want to eat bang, like bread." But like, oh, it's so expensive. And that's when I actually
Uh-huh.
started to bake because
Right? Yeah. And um yeah, the stuff that I use, my main medium
yeah.
is like literally flour,
Mm,
water, and newspapers or like scrap paper.
right.
So I can make anything from that, because like that's how my mom and I grew up. Like it
Mhm.
was us making toys out of paper mache. It
Yeah.
was her building me a playhouse out of paper mache. Like everything we made out of paper mache,
Mhm.
even like storage and stuff. So it's like, oh, I just know you can make anything with paper mache, and it's like so cheap. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Ah, it's so good. So like what's like driving you down this path? Like is do you have a goal in mind or like where is it's like just something you want to create in the future? Like some like grandiose like, oh, this is before I die. I'm gonna make this like crazy idea.
I do have a lot of crazy ideas that I want to do before I die, and I okay. So I think the when you said like, I think the in the questions you sent me,
mm,
you said what are the obvious difficulties and like the
mm.
more like hidden difficulties.
Yes. Yeah.
Like the money is the obvious difficulty that like
Mm,
I don't mind at all because I use cheap stuff,
mm.
but the more hidden one I think is space. Um,
Oh.
yeah, because space is so expensive too,
Mhm.
and also like storage space. Like I want to make really big things, but then every day I find myself making smaller and smaller and smaller sculptures to the point where they're like this
Mm.
small, whereas I used to make like giant things because I don't have anywhere to store them, and because like in our generation, we might not ever own homes. Like we
Right.
might never own walls. Like we are the only like our body is the only home that we might end up having. So
Mhm.
like where can we hang art or display art except on our bodies, which is how I actually came to my like
Mhm.
main thesis and worldview when it comes to like our generation in art.
Mhm.
Um, but that yeah, so one day sure I would love to in a gallery space like have all
Mm.
these cool sculptures that people can touch, go into,
Mhm.
and
Interact.
like interact with,
Mhm.
because that's the main thing I don't like about galleries is that you can't touch anything or take anything. But basically I want to create like a playhouse that like my mom created for me, but
Mhm.
for like me, for my generation, out of paper
Yeah.
mache. Yeah, like
Yeah.
symbolically. But I would say the like okay, so that answers the one day in the future thing.
Mhm.
But then what drives me every day is I think this is a language for me. So
Mm.
if it's just every day the things that I think about, I have to have like a visual, I want to make a visual representation of it. And because I'm an outward processor, if I
Mhm.
just like keep the thoughts in my head, like it doesn't go anywhere. But like if I start making things to symbolically wear my thoughts,
Yeah.
or like to wear my testimony, or like create like visual representations of like the angst or like the
Mm.
pain that I'm going through, then like it almost feels like a form of worship.
Mm.
It's like meditation where it's like, okay, I take in the word, and I also am taking in all these like hurtful experiences or beautiful experiences, and I want to
Mhm.
like take these ingredients and bake it into like something
Mm.
symbolic. Yeah. So I think I get more joy from making the stuff than like just keeping and looking at the stuff. But yeah,
Mm. What
it's yeah.
have you ever considered like I know a lot of not a lot, sorry, like a few sculptors I or like people I know, not I personally know, but I've seen online that like really use the environment to sculpt. Like they'd either place their own sculpture in the environment and just kind of leave it there, or like they
Uh-huh.
turn something that's already there into a sculpture. Like
Hmm.
because you're like talking about like limited space and stuff. Like have you ever like
Yeah,
thought to do like outside that?
I did try. Forget what it's called. I think it's called, there's a term for it, like
Mm.
nature art or something like that. I did try it where I went out and I like wove the branches, or like
Mm.
I wove the reeds into like a pattern,
Mm.
or like I stacked like sea glass or whatever. But
Mm.
then I don't really like nature. I really
Oh.
like as I want to be a cottage core dream girl, but let's be real. If it wasn't for wonderful people, I would never leave the house.
Oh my god,
Um,
that's so funny.
yeah, I think so. But I do really like taking stuff that I find and then
Mm.
putting it into like a solid
Yeah, yeah.
state. Because what was really fun was because I'm just basically this isn't like me creating art is basically a devotion,
Right.
like because it's the everyday practice that I do based on how I'm learning and feeling and growing. And
Mm.
so accidentally it ends up creating very meaningful like symbolic materials in the
Mm.
pieces. Like for example, during COVID, like at the height of COVID, I was staying at a friend's house to quarantine,
Mm.
and all they had were COVID newspapers,
Oh.
like newspapers with headlines about COVID. And I was like,
Right.
oh, can I take these newspapers? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then so I was like ripping up these newspapers to make like, because back then TikTok had just started like booming.
Right.
Um, bread making had just started booming. And so I was like,
Mm.
I'm gonna make like paper mache bread keychains, like bread
Mm.
that people can like hang on like a necklace.
Mm.
And then it can hold their key on the inside to
Mm.
represent like the feeling of a cozy home, because I was craving the feeling of a cozy home because I wasn't at any
Oh.
home. I was like stranded at a friend's house quarantining, right? So
Right.
even though I was just going by my mood and what I was making, what I felt like I needed in that moment, like a balm.
Mm.
Later, when I was writing about it to submit it to something, I was like, oh, using the newspapers articles that um, that were telling the world about COVID.
Mm.
I was informing like the very generational like movement of making bread and making home, and like
That's
how we
so
were all
funny.
nomad. Yeah, you know what I
Yeah,
mean. So
yeah, yeah.
it's not actually BS. Like it's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
really. It just happens that because what I'm making is a response of my devotionals, like
Mm.
it ends up really making seasonal sense.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I like I know more about that. Like how does like your does like your Christian faith, is that the way it stems your inspiration, or is it more of like an additive to your artwork? Like how does your Christian faith relate to your art?
Hmm. I think if my if I think I think if I didn't have to lean on my faith as
Mhm.
much, and maybe if my faith wasn't as important to me, and if it wasn't my whole world,
Mhm.
then I probably could make a lot more random stuff. But I find
Mm.
that I actually abandon a lot of the superficial projects that I start that don't have spiritual weight to them,
Oh, interesting.
because like I'm dealing with real world problems, real world chronic
Mm.
pain, real world like existential. I have an existential crisis about like around uh 11 a.m. in the morning, and like about like at 4 p.m. in the evening, like every day.
Wow.
Uh,
That's so
and then
specific.
I don't know, something like it always changes, but like
Uh-huh.
something around like there's a
Right.
random vulnerable feeling moment in the day where I just have like, what am I doing? Like, I need
Mm.
something solid to hold on to. Like, I go through an existential crisis. Like, is my worth really from my works? No, it can't be that. Um,
Ah.
yeah, and then I literally have to go through the whole Abrahamic covenant, the promise of
Mm.
like, oh, it's not the works, it's the grace. Like,
Mhm.
your your worth. Like, all I have to go through the gospel in the way that it saved me
Mhm.
specifically, in order to ground myself again. So because I'm doing that every day, like it's
Mhm.
a literally the gospel is my prescription pill that I have to take every day to
Oh.
function.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's easier to finish projects that are related to that.
Mm.
I think that's
That's
why my
true.
biggest projects are ones that have something to do with spiritual satisfaction, chronic pain, and existential question, because that's like
Mm.
everyday breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Right.
Whereas more like superficial stuff, like, oh, I'm gonna make a strawberry chair. Like that sculpture over there is sitting in my closet, and it's been there for almost more. It's been there forever,
Yeah.
and I don't know, until I can infuse like actual meaning into it. It'll probably never be finished.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you think, I mean, kind of based on like what you were saying already, like, do you think you would even be an artist or a sculptor or an author if it weren't for God or like your faith?
I think so. I
Oh,
think
really? Mm.
I would have been, but I would have made a lot more like. I think I would have made a lot more harmful stuff.
Interesting.
Like because a lot of the material, like the subject material that I deal
Mm-hmm.
with, is pretty dark.
Mm.
But it's very full of life because I have the perspective of healing, and I'm
Mm.
actively experiencing salvation, right?
Right.
But if it wasn't for that, it's just me meditating on my darkness and me meditating on my pain.
Yeah,
So if I
yeah.
didn't have this whole prescription plan,
Mm-hmm.
um, I would just be creating art instead about, oh, grace is what saves me, not works. Instead of
Mm.
creating art about like, oh wow, these like ways to communicate through wearables connects me to community, which is beautiful. Instead
Yeah.
of, wow, there is spiritual satisfaction. We just got to keep looking for it. Like instead of that, it would be like, I want to die. Um,
Mm.
I'm gonna die. I'm dying. Like, which
Mm.
is what I think every day. But then
Yeah.
like it this like answers the, yeah. So I think I would
Mm.
still, because this is my main language, I would still be speaking. I'd just be a lot more toxic, I think.
Right. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's so interesting because like you were saying in the beginning, like you pursued the art career because your dad's like, hey, like, or no, you're thinking about the talents thing. But like if you
Uh-huh.
weren't Christian, you wouldn't have chosen to do that, right? Or
Oh yeah, that's true.
so that's what I was asking. I guess why I
I
asked.
don't think I would have gone to art school.
Mm.
maybe. Yeah.
So,
I
but
would
you
have
would have
probably like started.
pursued
Yeah,
author. Sure.
yeah. I would have just written really depressing, really dark books, which is fine, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
I would have gotten here again through that somehow. Um, but I think so I really struggle with imposter syndrome. I'm sure
Mm.
everyone does. But like, I don't like, I really, people can't tell because I post more than the average person, like my art and stuff
Mm.
and my process and stuff. But compared to the healthiest version and the perfect version of myself, I actually don't post a lot, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Because I have a lot of shame when it comes to dealing with my own artwork because I have like this image of what it's supposed to look like or it can look like in my
Mm.
head. I end up throwing away so much stuff that I did finish because it's not perfect.
Mm.
Um, and then that's basically me every day doing the whole burying the talent thing, to be honest,
Mm.
right? It's me making something, being like, oh, it's not good enough to be a sacrifice, and then like burying it.
Mm.
Um,
Do you like look back at those pieces like maybe like 5 years from now or something? Be like, oh, actually that looks pretty good, and then like bring it back
yeah.
out.
No, I actually like, I'm very dramatic. I destroy them. Like,
Oh
I
my god.
would like rip them apart or like throw them in the trash and like dump like drinks on them so that
Oh
they're
my
unsalvageable.
gosh.
Or I just like try to give them away, and if nobody wants them, I leave them on the curb in the rain.
Oh,
Um,
so
yeah,
sad.
and I move a lot, so it's like I have so many chances to like leave things on the curb.
Oh.
And then I'm just like, when I think about those, I'm like, I regret it so much.
Oh.
But I still have my hands. I can still
Yeah.
make art. And if I lose my
Yeah.
hands, I'll use my feet. Like, it'll be
Mm.
fine. Which is where like the eternal thing comes in very comforting. But
Yeah.
still, I need to get better about not hiding my two bread, wait,
Mhm.
two, five bread, two fish from
Mhm.
Jesus. Because that's also another parable that's like very important to
Yeah.
me, where it's like, give God all your little bad quality stuff. Like, just give him everything and then he can use it. But
Mhm.
then our own pride and ego, my own pride and ego gets in the way. I'm like, it's not perfect. And I throw it away instead of like giving it to
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And he's literally asking the crowd, does anyone have like ugly art that like I can use to feed the 4,000? I'm like, no, mine's too ugly. Ooh. And then I'm literally like burn it, like throwing it in the river. And like the 4,000 people are like, surprise
uh,
Pikachu, like that we could have eaten that.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's actually like, I have a sculpture to show you.
Oh. Yeah. I
Yeah.
saw that one on your website.
Yes. So this is actually like a visual representation of that parable. Like,
Mm. Yes.
these are
Yes.
all like, I remember when I was super stressed and I just wanted to write Bible passages, but my handwriting is so ugly. I was like, I'm gonna lean into it, and I would write like really ugly letters. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
E, and like it's supposed to be an F. Like, that doesn't make sense. But anyways,
Oh.
this is the like literally the verse of that
Oh.
passage.
Yeah.
And then like ukulele was another thing where it's like, I'm so bad at, in my head, I'm
Mm.
so bad at singing, I'm so bad at playing the ukulele compared to what I think I can do.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this is me boxing it away so that I can't use it and
Mm.
burying it. And then
Mm.
like now, like God can't use it as a to multiply it and whatever.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but I have a message. I don't know. This is something I always share to people. But I one time, like, there are people out there who do way worse than you, and God is using them like rampantly because
Mhm.
they are openly, bravely just giving their gifts to God, and their art is so ugly, but God is still using them. So we gotta be like that. We gotta get that, claim that energy, and like,
Mhm.
yeah, humble ourselves. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I think like that reminds me of Pablo. No, sorry, not Pablo. Sorry, I was thinking of something. Picasso. The
Oh,
him and his this Les Mademoiselles. His first
yeah.
piece. His first
Uh
cubist
huh.
piece. Like
Uh huh.
that's that. You know that story, right? He did first cubist piece and he was like, oh my gosh, what have I created? This is a disaster. Like,
Mhm.
oh my god. And he's flipped his painting against the wall for like
Mhm.
7 or something years because he was so
Mhm.
ashamed of it. But that's like one
Mm.
of his like most like famous and
Renowned
renowned
works.
pieces.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like you. You're like you have all these amazing works, and right now you feel shamed, but like you'll look back on it and you'll be like, oh, amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Although I don't like the Pablo Picasso.
Yeah, me too.
But I do believe in the
Yeah,
flipping the artwork. I relate to the flipping the
yeah,
artwork thing for sure.
yeah,
Not to making his girlfriends cry
yeah.
to make them to paint them, but yeah, the flipping the
Yeah,
artwork is a
yeah,
mood.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Let's see. So like a lot of your like artwork seems to have like a motive of food, like a motif of food. Like why is that a thing, or like is that your is it because you love food so much, or like is there like a significance behind it?
I really like that you asked me that question because you, I really don't know the answer to things. But I actually don't know. Because I have a really complicated relationship with food.
Mm.
Uh, I during school, art school, I got really overworked, overstressed because I was putting too much effort into the practice stuff.
Mm.
Anyways, like I really overworked myself, and then I developed a bunch of like chronic pain and stomach issues.
Mhm.
So I can't. I have to. I really struggle eating and keeping it down when
Yeah.
I'm stressed. And then so it's not like I do love food, but I don't know. I guess it's something I have to like really think about. But I know aesthetically why I choose
Mhm.
them because I love chunky organic shapes in solid
Mhm.
colors.
Mhm.
So like this kind of shape, like
Yeah.
the shape, that shape, like that
Mhm.
shape. Like I like chunky, colorful solids, right?
Yeah.
And basically vegetables, that's what they are. Like a carrot is an abstract orange blob.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and an apple is an abstract red blob. And like a
Mhm.
cucumber is an abstract green blob. So I'm like, oh my gosh, these are so pretty. They look like blocks, like playing blocks.
Yeah, yeah.
So visually, like I really like maybe that's why I make like raw ingredients rather than like pre-made
Right.
food. Like the other day, someone suggested that I make a little sculpture of a stew, and I was like, ugh, like I love eating stew, but I don't want to wear soup. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
That's
I
so
want to wear the
interesting.
ingredients of soup, but
You'd like to draw a Campbell's soup can?
well, I mean, that's a mood.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a generational, but it's been done.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I do struggle to when I have a lot of like chronic stomach issues because of stress. It's
Mhm.
usually I can't have overly spiced, overly fried uh food. So maybe that's why I like making simple ingredients because I can only eat
Mm.
simple ingredients when I'm stressed.
Interesting.
Maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a theory. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. I think it's just so like I love hearing like your thought like the way like your thought process and everything, and like
Oh,
I
thank you.
was well, especially when I was reading your book,
Hmm.
the caterpillar portraits. If anyone wants to find it, you can message Joyce and she will, I don't know, do the transaction with you, I guess.
Yeah, just message me via DM because I have them
Hmm.
sitting right here and I can send you one.
Yeah. And it was so like I don't know. I loved it was like normally I don't really read like non-fictional like kind of stories, but when I was reading it, it felt very like had like a very dreamlike quality to it. Very like almost felt like I stepped into like a memory of yours, and like it's like I was viewing it through like a dreamscape. It was very I don't know, it was very nice. And just seeing the way you think and like the way as a child I guess, and it's just coming together. It was very like beautiful. And
Aw, thank you.
yeah. And like so how was it like what was your journey in like getting that like published, and like I guess you chose to get it published because you want to be an author, or did you like want think of like self-publishing, like how did you ended up going through that?
Um, it's really interesting because I didn't really seek it out.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. It's kind of like my belief in relate. It's like my take on relationships. It's like if you, my mom always told me,
Mm.
if you're looking for, so when two people, they fall in love and they just look at each other, they'll like have this super passionate moment.
Mhm.
um but because they are two different people with two different values and they're going in two different directions, they
Mm.
will ultimately, like, because they met while they were in the way of going to their separate goals, they
Mhm.
will meet and then cross over and just continue to separate in their own ways,
Mm.
depending on what they worship and on their idols and like
Mm.
their goals in life. But if you're both going towards the same thing and you're not even thinking about relationships, you're just thinking about that thing that you love, that thing that gives you life, that thing that you will pursue for the rest of your life. Like, so for example, for me, it's my relationship with God.
Mm.
And if you just focus on that, then you'll, like, as you get closer to God,
Mm.
you'll turn around and you'll notice another person's getting really close to God. And then
Mm.
that will be the person that you're meant to journey your life with for the rest of your life, because you're both going in the same direction. The both, like, the same source is giving you life, the same, like,
Mm.
everything, the main important thing in life for both of you is the same. So like, it's
Mhm.
impossible to actually reach God while you're on earth, right? So
Yeah.
like, you'll just keep getting closer and closer and closer and closer as you get closer to your goal.
Mhm.
So I don't know, I've always like thought that relationships, they happen when you're not really looking for them,
Mm.
as long as you're being faithful with what you've been given and faithful in the way that God has called you to worship. So I think that's also how I view like my dreams and my jobs and
Mm.
anything that I really want in life. I do truly believe that desires are planted in us for a reason.
Mm.
um, and so just being faithful in uh, being a good steward of those desires
Yeah.
will actually end up like growing you to be in the place where you're ready for that wish to come true. Um, so that's kind of how I was viewing the authorship thing. Um,
Mm.
because I was so focused on the art thing, because I was scared God was gonna take that talent like away
Right.
from me and buried it. I was more focused on that, like at extra, what's the word? Uh, Not my major, but elective, at an elective course.
Mhm.
I think it was a nonfiction writing course or something like that. I was just writing about, like, I was just writing every day still
Mhm.
because I was being faithful in whatever.
Mm.
Um, and then for homework, we had to read it out loud for the class. And then because it's an elective, that means other majors are there too.
Right.
Usually, OCAD is like split up into floors by major,
Mhm.
so you never really meet the other majors. But then that elective, I met a bunch of other majors, and then I think an illustrator friend
Mhm.
who was into printmaking and publishing heard my stuff, and then I heard her stuff, and we're like, "Oh, you're good. I like your stuff." And then like she approached me, she's like, "Hey, can I illustrate? Like, do you want to finish that like
Yeah.
homework thing that you did? Like, and I'll illustrate it for you." And I was like, "Sure, why not? I'm honored." And then so I like
Mm.
wrote like crazy. I finished the book, and then she illustrated it for me. And she's like, "We should apply for this grant." And I'm like, "We're not gonna get that, but sure, you can do whatever you want." And then
Mhm.
we got the grant. Um, and then so we were able to print like 100 copies of like hand bound. She hand bound all of it. The original one, it's like very like shimmery because it's like
Yeah.
gold and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
It's supposed to be the Korean pear. Yeah.
Wow.
And so the green one is the second edition, but yeah, so it just happened. Um,
Amazing.
and like I want to write more books in the future.
Mhm.
I've been having a little bit of trouble with that actually like coming into fruition. Like I don't have trouble like finishing writing,
Mm.
but I think I'm struggling with like getting things like completely wrapped up and finished with illustrations and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Um, so I'm trying not to, I don't stress about it. I'm just believing that if I keep being worshipful and creating,
Mhm.
then eventually again the same thing will happen. Like opportunity, like if I keep going in the direction I'm gonna go, meet the opportunity, and then it'll happen
Mm.
and stuff like that. Yeah, so
Yeah, I think
like,
that's so awesome.
yeah, I'm not a good agent like for myself at all. um I would hide in a cave and make things for the rest of my life if I could, but God is my agent, so I'm leaving it up to
Mhm.
him. He has a plan. Like, Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly like didn't know you had a book until I started prepping for the
I bury it. I
interview.
don't talk about it because I'm like, oh, other people write so much better than
Well,
me.
I
It
thought it
doesn't
was
really
so
have a plot.
beautiful.
Like, thank you.
I think that was like the quality of like the reason why it was so dreamlike is because
Mhm.
you know dreams don't really have a plot; it just
That's true.
happens,
My
right?
God, that's so
Uh,
beautiful. That's
uh,
like my life testimony.
uh,
Like, my testimony doesn't really have a plot. It just happens.
yeah,
Oh, I don't
and
know why my thing
yeah,
went.
uh,
I don't know how to fix this.
yeah, and then
There.
oh, yeah, we're good. Yeah, I think it was like, do you like, I guess with your the current the book that you have, like you did it based on like a school project,
Hmm.
but like what like in the future, I don't know if you don't want to reveal or not, but like in the future,
Okay.
like do you have like things that like you want to talk about, or like is it gonna be like similar to what you've already created, or like what's
Uh, I did think about doing a part two, like
mm-hmm.
for my more messy, angsty teenage years.
Mm.
But it's so messy, angsty, and I just recently healed from it. So I was like,
um
it'll probably have to be like super sci-fi, very abstract, very symbolic, so I can
mm.
remove myself from it a little bit and still get to the nitty gritty, like dirty emotions.
Yeah.
So I tried doing that during the NaNoWriMo November challenge this
Mm-hmm.
past November, but that actually was really hard. I don't know. So yeah, maybe one day I'll finish that.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I worked on was like a Korean fairy tale, um, but that's kind of on the back burner because I finished the
Mm.
story,
Oh.
but I'm not actively looking to get it printed or illustrated because I'm, again, same thing. I'm like, oh, it's
Mm.
not that good. Um, I also have a children's book that I finished like a long time
Mm.
ago that my friends are trying to help me illustrate and edit. So like the illustrations are done.
Yeah.
It's a story about an onion who has many layers. It's kind of like
Aww.
basically me. Like the onion is very sad and
Mm.
experiences all these different things, and like he tries to fill his layers with things that heal him, like little by
Mm.
little. So he's like infusing his layers with things that heal him. It's like a mental health kind of thing. And
Mm.
then one day, like God starts peeling his layers off, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's very vulnerable. And he's like, why is this happening to me? But then lo and behold, spoiler alert, like somebody needed to see that, like that
Right.
peeling away to see, like, oh, that's how he healed. That's how I can heal.
Mm.
And then he gets really stinky because it's messy and all that kind of
Mm.
stuff. But then it's a beautiful process. So yeah, that's in the process of getting edited right now. It'll probably take a really long time
Yeah.
because it took a really long time for it to get here even.
Mm.
Um, but one
That
day,
sounds
again,
so beautiful.
thank you.
You know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
Since you were saying like how you really want like a tactile gallery, I feel like you would maybe if you like created like you know how like those like infant books or like those tactile children's books. I feel like you could do something like that. That'd be really cool.
True.
That could work. I don't know.
That's
Something.
cute. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and because you're forthcoming with a baby soon, it's like
That's true.
maybe you could work together. I think that'd be so
You know
cute.
what I would like? I would like to be able to make a installation
Mm.
for young kids to go through like a garden.
Oh, a
That would be cool.
garden.
Like for example, like the installation is a tree and then the fruits are like random objects that
Mm.
they can actually like harvest. Like so all the kids get a
Yeah.
basket. They can actually pluck the art off of the thing and they can like take it in their basket
Yeah.
home.
That's
Like
so
that would be
that's
cute.
so cute. I would
And
want to
adults
go
can do
through
it
that.
too.
Like, who
Yeah,
my kids
totally.
are going through first?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. So like
Yeah.
okay, I guess going back to your sculpture, it's like do you have like a favorite thing that you've ever made or like
I actually had to go ask Sunny if there's one that I talk about a lot because of the whole like, oh no, it's not good enough, the thing.
yeah.
I do really like even though this was like the most simple shaped one, like it's not that complicated. I really like this because I
Oh,
think
the
it
crown,
like
right?
yeah. Wait 1 second. Let me see if I can get it. Dislodge it. Anyways, it's okay. You can see it.
Yeah.
I think because it symbolizes where like the essence of what I'm trying to capture, which is like that
Mm.
toy.
Mm.
Like it looks basically it's a crown that you can wear that is reminiscent of those like the wire bead toys that you
Yeah,
had
the
at hospital.
childhood.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. In the
yeah.
doctor's
Which
office.
I never had. I always wanted one.
Yeah.
Um, but like being able to wear things to heal your inner child, being able to wear things that like
Mm.
help you like give you the tools to grow and to practice moving and navigating
Mhm.
this world. Like I think that's what I really like. So I like that one. I also like my thesis one. Um wait, am I allowed to show like
Yeah.
a bra?
Yeah.
Wait, I'll just hide it so it doesn't look so bra like. Okay, here. Like this sculpture.
Mhm.
It's like a heart pocket bra and I wore
Yeah.
it during my performance and then like it has a hole like
Mm.
you can open it and then you can put stuff in it to symbolize that we our heart is also a way that we can consume things. Like we
Mm.
can put things in, take things out, not just our mouths, not just our eyes, but like also our heart. So like, well, whatever we plant in here will grow eventually. So it was like a very like cathartic, symbolic way
Yeah.
to show that for me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
your thesis. It was really cool. I
Thank you.
like oh, we can go back into that. But yeah, like
Yeah, it's
it's
really hard. It's like very. It's all
yeah.
paper. Yeah.
Mhm. Like do you like sell your sculptures or are they just like for your personal stuff or like
I would love to sell my sculptures. I
really?
mean, yeah, like if I don't sell them, I'm probably gonna like put them on the curb in the rain soon. So
No.
like if someone wants to buy anything that they see that I make, just please tell me because if you don't tell me soon, I'll try to stop myself, but I might end up throwing it away.
Really, I thought like for instance, for me like personally when I was looking through your your um your gallery, I really loved this, the marks of Marks that you created.
Oh, that's actually the only thing I sold.
Where did you sell it to?
My friend who came to see this show, she really liked it and like liked my testimony and the message
Mm,
behind it, so she bought it.
yeah, darn it, I would have bought that.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, this is so beautiful. I thought this was amazing. I really also liked these and like these sticks that you carved. I felt
Oh,
like
I actually still have those.
yeah, like I feel like these kind of things is like the message behind it and like everything I could like totally relate and like I thought that was so beautiful. Like and these kind of things. Like I feel like a lot of things that you create but they're not on like your to sell list, I guess.
Mhm.
Cuz like
Mhm.
if anyone knows, you can check out Joyce's shop here and you can purchase her beautiful food art um
Yeah, my earrings.
and
Couple
her earrings.
earrings.
And
Great
yeah.
earrings.
So like these kind of things are also very beautiful and but like your actual sculptures and stuff like are not I don't know if you like I didn't even know you could buy it, right? Like I didn't know. So
I didn't know anybody wanted to buy it.
oh, they're so nice. I don't know.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Honestly,
yeah.
I want to create and like get stuff out into the world. And
Mhm.
that's my dream, I think. One day that I'll just create and then it'll immediately disappear and I'll like it'll get sent out into the world. But for now I'm just like I have all the stuff. It's just sitting here. So
Mm. Yeah, I
yeah.
think those are awesome. Yeah. So I guess back to like your thesis and like the heart and like everything. Um I was really like I don't know like when I was reading through it, I thought it was so like well written. It was so hard for me. I was like I could never write to this level of like intelligence. I was like
Oh,
I was so smart, but it was so
thank
good.
you so much.
Yeah, and like the like you're talking about like a lot of like things that you talked about earlier, like existentialism and like chronic pain and like you really like wrapped your like thesis around I guess your life and it's just like I thought it was like how did you like I guess did you find aerial like the dancing I don't know what it's called
Yeah, that's
the
right.
exercise
Yeah.
um before your thesis or only because of your thesis? It's like,
Oh, it actually just all happened at the same time, like perfect timing.
no.
Because thesis happens at the last year of school. Um, that was also when I was the most stressed and my body was like literally disintegrating, and
Mm.
I just knew um, I needed to wrap myself physically with something that represented the soothing salvation that I knew was out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the physical aspect of it. I also knew mentally I needed to be working on something every day that reminded me like that I would survive that. And then I also needed something uh, for like to work on for a whole year for thesis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so with all of that in mind, I was like, just I couldn't stop thinking about it because my body's not letting me forget. My existential crisis isn't letting me forget. I'm like, well, I need something to symbolize to fix this. I need something to fix my mental, physical, spiritual
Mm-hmm.
um, problem right now. And then I was like, I wish there was something. I was literally lying in bed and I felt so much pain um, and so much like frustration in my spine and my body that I was like, oh, I just need something that will stretch me, that I can like hang from, that'll like
Mm.
also like embrace me.
Mm.
Um, I wish there was something like that in this world so that I
Mm.
could like worship and meditate while I'm doing that. And then I was like, wait, isn't that a thing? So
Mm.
I think I looked up uh acrobatic curtain something like
Yeah,
fabric
yeah.
or whatever, and then I saw that and I was like, this looks exactly like the treatment I need.
Mm.
um and then so I was so scared because I'd never been into that environment before, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was actually circus arts.
Mm.
I just thought it was like a gym thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I went there the first day and it looks like just a little studio. And then I was stretching on the ground because that's what the instructor was telling me to do. And I
Mm.
was upside down. And then suddenly, like this very like vibrant bohemian looking lady with dreads who looked super fit, super cool, like
Mm.
older lady, like literally when I was on the ground like looking up stretching, like she like popped up in my view and she's like, welcome to the circus, and I'm like, what did I sign up for? And it was great. It actually
Yeah.
did hit all the spots. Like it helped my chronic pain so much.
Mm.
um yeah, and then I was like, this is exactly what I want my thesis to be. It's me navigating life, trying to figure out
Mm.
how to surround myself with the testimony that gives me life. So
That's awesome. Like,
yeah,
do you still do that, or is just like a one and done thing?
I would still have done it if I
Mm.
didn't move away, but
All right.
yeah, I moved away right after school, and then when I came back, COVID, so the studio had shut down
Mm.
briefly. I believe that they're operating out of house now,
Mm.
but I'll probably have to wait till after I have the baby, and then maybe I'll go back to it. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
That's so interesting. I've like never heard of anyone doing that as like a hobby. Like I've seen it before, but like I've never seen anyone like in my circle of friends to like pursue that. And I think that's
Uh-huh.
so awesome. And like how that like also like helped with your like chronic pain and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really loved when I was reading on your page the little like diagram. It really helped me navigate through your your video like this. This is so cute and also like very helpful.
I really appreciate that. Like, I don't think normal people look at that stuff.
Oh.
I really feel so seen and appreciated right now because
Yeah,
the
it's
fact that you dug deep. I don't know. I feel like it's an author's like deepest secret desire that somebody will like go in with a pen and analyze every line. That you know what I mean? Which is what I feel like you're doing for me.
yeah.
I feel like you're annotating me, which is such an honor. I'm very
Oh.
happy.
Honestly, like the more I read about you, I've been like stalking for the past week, like on your Instagram and stuff. I'm like the more like I've never even met you in person, but the more I love you, it's just amazing.
I love you too, man. So, thank you.
Yeah,
Whatever, shut up. We can be friends.
yeah.
I mean, we are friends, but
So yeah, so I saw like you like projected your thesis. Like, Was that a practical
Uh,
decision, or did you not want to do like a live performative art? Like,
I wanted to do live.
all right.
I wanted to do it live and nude.
Oh,
Because I'm like, okay, this clothing is a distraction. Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
supposed to be me being born into
yeah.
this world and like
Right.
being stripped of everything that, like, anyways.
Yeah,
So, in an ideal world where the world is perfect and pure and whatever,
yeah,
it would have been done in nude and whatever. But
yeah.
I think at that point, that would have been more distracting in
Mm,
today's world. And also, I tried to convince the school to get me to get the rigging up, but
yeah.
it was a little bit too technical, too hard. So I had
Right.
to do it in the studio. But I am grateful for all limitations because if I didn't have to record it to project it,
Mm,
I wouldn't have asked my friends who helped me. So Malik Dalaman, he is a photographer friend.
mm,
You should check him out. Him, and he's also Christian, and he has a
mm,
really cool testimony. And then my friend Vivi, and who else? Shirls, and there was one more person. I'm so sorry. Yeah,
mm,
but those people all I asked all of my basically my community to help me. Oh, Charles Chan,
mm,
um, to help me document this, and
mm-hmm.
I that's the only reason why I have the performance today.
Right, right.
So I'm really grateful that
So it
I
turned out
couldn't
for
do
the
it.
better, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought like, I mean, some of these, like the way it was filmed and like, the shots were made, like you couldn't have like seen like that while you're like reaching for like the almond or like the walnut, like, and like it zoomed into like your hand, and like that kind of expression is really hard to convey or be
That's
noticed as much
true.
as if it wasn't like filmed. So I thought maybe that was maybe the reason. And it was really
Oh,
nice.
that is totally what I was thinking
Yeah,
about in the grand scheme of things.
yeah.
That's totally intentional. No, actually, that's, oh, sorry.
Oh.
That's so true. I
Mhm.
didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good. So I guess we kind of answered it, but like it says, actually no, it kind of didn't. But like I feel like you're very like such a like bubbly person. Like I feel like, have you ever like thought of pursuing like acting at all?
I always, okay, so I think that's where, I don't know, I've always wanted to act. I really want to voice act.
Mm.
That's like a secret dream. I'm like, God, I'm being faithful, right? In other areas of my life. Like, you can give me another talent if you want. Like, yeah, no, I would love to voice act. I would love to act. I'd love to do anything expressive, I guess,
Mm.
if the opportunity rises. Uh, yeah.
Yeah,
If
I
anyone
remember.
wants to, you know.
Oh yeah, I feel like because I've seen you did like modeling for like some like hats and like
Hmm.
other things that you've done. Like,
Hmm.
is like, have you like not thought of going in that direction either, or just like it's like, oh, just an opportunity, and like, like.
Yeah, I think if it interests me, I'd be down to do anything.
Mm,
There's only a few things that I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But if it's anything visually expressive, like, yeah, I think it's just those are not things that I can easily do with the resources I have alone. I would say.
mm,
I think that's why I do a lot of writing and art because those are things I can easily do with the things that I have every day.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think those are more, I guess, collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like
Hmm.
the other things I saw on your Instagram were like a lot of poetry. Like
Mm.
you'd write like a lot of poetry on like your stories, and like also like just spread out throughout like your Instagram layouts and stuff. Like, is that like just like, I don't know, like your way of like expressing like, oh, I'm just randomly, or like is there like a like deep thought process behind that? Like,
I
how's.
think it's my way of journaling almost.
Mm,
Um, yeah. I can't even say it's a self-directed intentional project because I don't do it for the sake of doing it. It's literally like, oh, if I'm in agony or if I have this great realization or if I have an overflow of emotions, I need to put it somewhere.
right.
So I'm just publicly journaling, kind of.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like I saw like on your website, like you had like the art denim poems and like
Oh
the
yeah.
other poems. Like, are those, do all the poetries have like an art piece with it, or is it just like just those ones?
Just those ones, and I threw those away.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh
That's what I'm
man.
telling people. It's going like that. So if you want something, let me
Yeah.
know.
You didn't even post that you're selling it. You just
Yeah, no.
threw it up.
I literally just took it to, I think I did like a backyard
Mm,
sale once,
yeah.
and then I put all my art out in the backyard, and then people didn't buy it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna put it
Oh
out on the curb. So
no.
yeah.
Why don't you use your like website? Like you could just post it and be like, "This is for sale for this
I guess
much,"
so.
and like,
I guess so. I guess I should
yeah.
slowly start doing that. But then it's also because I feel like I'm more keen on posting affordable things. I think that's why I like making the jewelry now, the wearable
Right.
sculptures, because that's more kind of my level of things that I can afford. So I think I project a little. I'm like, oh, I want people to get things that I can afford.
Right.
Um, but then I'm scared that if I post like the more really intense stuff, the big
Mhm.
stuff,
Mhm.
and I actually price it properly,
Yeah.
people will be like, "Oh no, I can't afford it," even though they want it,
Mhm.
and then not contact me. When in reality, like even if it's worth $1,000, if
Yeah.
you really want it,
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say this, but I'll probably give it to you for like I don't know, $70.
No,
Like
no,
you know what I
don't
mean?
do that.
But I'd rather someone have it than it die in the rain. So you know.
Right. I think that I mean, of course that's up to you as the artist to do that,
Hmm.
but like I think, if you have like a price on the thing and people,
Yeah,
really want it, I think they'll pay for it, right? I think like first personally like that Mark's thing, I would totally have bought that for at least $500, the very
that's
minimum.
actually I think that's how much it sold for.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
and like if it went up for 1,000, like I would have been like, okay, that's respect. I respect that price. You know what I mean? Because
But
that's
you wouldn't have bought
I
it.
would have bought it if I saved up money for it.
Hmm.
Like maybe like a few more years, but like I
Yeah,
definitely would have had something like, oh, I
yeah.
want to buy
Do you
that.
if you actually want the spine sticks,
Yeah.
let me know. I We can talk about
Okay, I
it.
will. But
I'll cut you a good deal.
okay, I'll for sure.
Yeah,
But yeah, like those and like so like stuff like that. Like I think yeah, so many things like I didn't know about you because you only post like your I guess
you're
like
right.
very like
I
recent
should
stuff.
post more stuff. You're right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like so like I just like it's not like I'm condemning you, but like it's more like oh I missed out because I only found out because I was digging
No, this is
so deep,
good
right?
accountability and encouragement. You're not.
Yeah.
I don't feel condemned at all.
Yeah, and it's so great. Like it's just a lot
Mhm.
of things that you done. It's like wow, like this is amazing, and like have you
Thanks, mom.
yeah. uh, yeah. So I
Have
guess
I?
I guess it's open to chat if anyone would like to
Oh
ask
yeah.
questions.
I
We'll
can't see the chat by the
oh
way, so
yeah
you'll
yeah
have to tell me. Yeah.
yeah. I'll let them think of some questions. And we'll just I guess keep talking. But if anyone has any questions, you guys can write it now. And like it's just like I think like I love that like I really loved your Mark's one and like the spine one. I feel like those like were like really like oh wow like I saw that and I'm like oh I totally buy those two things like I was like for sure like I feel like if I thought that like for sure other people have thought it right so it's amazing.
That like I think that's a beautiful thing about art is that
Mhm.
um like like when people share testimonies, you
Mm.
can't have their testimony, right?
Mm.
But like if your art like if you make art about your testimony and someone like imagine like Sarah
Yeah.
if like something really really beautiful and terrifying happened to you that like you like it shook you to your core in the most like vulnerable way and
Mm.
then you like like it produced a pearl or like it produced something like tangible
Mm.
and then you're like wow this is so cool and then somebody sees that and like they're like going through the same thing and then they're like I really want that and then like you give it to them like
Mhm.
that euphoria like
Mm.
I think that's the cool thing about art is you can actually do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you
That's
can actually like share and consume each other's
mm,
testimonies in tangible ways. So,
yeah. I think like for me, art has never really been so much about expressing my emotions as much as it's more about expressing my ideas.
oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and so like it's so like when I see like your artwork and like it in expressing such a like a raw emotion and like the story behind the artwork and stuff, it's like I feel like it's like just another level of like I don't know, appreciation. Just like it's so beautiful, I think, and I really like
Aw.
them.
I
Yeah.
think it's because I'm a very emotional person. Everything,
Oh.
everything is emotion.
Yeah, I mean that's great, and it's so awesome that you're like expressing it in such beautiful manners, and like
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's I love it.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I think everybody is good. don't they don't have any questions, but
No question.
yeah, I guess thank you for like coming on, and I don't know, is there anything like you'd like to plug or like something?
Mm. Yeah, if anybody sees anything on my social media
Mm-hmm.
that they want, even if you think it's a long shot, just let me know and I might be willing to part with it,
Mm.
you know, for like a few bubble teas or something.
Oh, sorry. There's a question. Uh,
Okay.
Mini friend asks, "What is Joyce's favorite sculpture?" Oh, we talked about this, but we can go over it again.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think the heart sculpture and then this toy crown sculpture. I don't really know if I have like a favorite one yet. I think in my head, because none of them are perfect, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's
My
awesome.
favorite sculpture is the community that I have crafted over the time by the grace of God. So everyone here today is my favorite sculpture. Yeah.
uh,
Oh, speaking of Mini Friend, I
mhm.
totally think you should interview Mini Friend as well because she's an artist and she's using her gifts to glorify
Yeah,
God.
definitely. We do have one already booked for August because we have one
Yeah, yeah.
interview every 3 months.
Oh,
But
wow. How did I make it? I'm
I
so
don't know.
honored.
You were
I'm so
honestly our
precious.
answer to Paris, so it's great.
Wow, I'm so
Yeah.
honored.
So many friend, if you want to bring Joyce again, she says. uh, yeah, but yeah, it's been yeah. So any other plugs that you like to like Instagram or like websites or something?
Mm, oh yes, if anyone is an illustrator and is looking for a new project, I have a lot of written stuff that I would like to put out into the world after it gets paired off with an illustration. So
Mm,
feel free to message me if you want to collaborate. Uh, and yeah, I'm selling my jewelry stuff. So if you want
mm-hmm.
that, what else? Oh yeah, I have a bunch of my books that Sarah recommends. So if you
Yes.
want it, DM me and then I will tell you how to get it. Don't
Yeah.
go on Amazon
Yes.
because I don't know who's selling that one. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But
I think that's
yeah,
it.
out of all of your like food jewelry, I love the Odin one. So
Really?
cute.
Okay.
So cute. Yeah. But
Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you.
But yeah, you guys should check her out. Yeah, you can find her. Oh, yeah. Mini friend had linked your Instagrams, so you
Oh,
guys can check
thank
her
you.
out on the Joyce Jodie and Carpos Collective, Joyce Jodie Wearables, and you can find her on her website as well at carposcollective.com. And I know you're also that website also has two of your other artist friends as
Yes.
well. Yes.
Yes.
So you can find her and support her or her friends. You can
Hmm.
also check out her work under her portfolios, the things that we covered today. Her thesis is the story of sensitives, the mark of marks that I was talking about, and those nights and other stuff that she's done. So yeah, and she's very active on Instagram, so you guys can check her out there.
Yes. Very angsty. Very
Yeah,
active.
yeah. Yeah, if you don't mind, would you like to close us up in prayer?
Yes, I will close. I do not mind.
Yes.
Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this time where I get to share whatever people were curious about. I pray that you bless everyone who is here today, and everyone who's like kind of going through the same things that I'm going through and has the same questions in life that I have. That they will keep searching. They'll keep fighting till they find that spiritual satisfaction. Um, and that through communities, creative communities like this, like gaming communities, very unconventional communities that our generation needs, help this generation to shamelessly seek you in non-traditional ways and find you because you are a very traditional and breaking, loving God. Um, yeah, bless everyone today and help it to be a really cozy gaming night. In
Mm-hmm.
Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just gonna close off. Um, Sorry, you guys can get my cursed camera again. Um, if you guys, yeah, we have some other things coming up on Lightly Salted. We have summer tournament coming up. We have yet to decide um, what we're doing yet. We do have a questionnaire. If anyone would like to fill them out, you can possibly win an Amazon gift card. It's linked is in the announcements page. Anyone's welcome to fill that out. One per person, please. And yeah, and that's just for us to survey the community to see what you guys are looking for. We also have things coming up that is kind of in the works right now called the Salty Sweats. It's like a GTA kind of like activities, in-person activities group. We're gonna be like playing ultimate frisbee and other things. So you guys can really, yeah, I don't know, stick around, figure out, and look forward to our podcast next month. And in another 3 months, we'll have another interview. But yeah, that was Joyce, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. Check her out on all of her instas and stuff. And yeah, thank you guys for joining. Bye.